Welcome to episode 43 of the Family Geekery podcast. I'm Amber.
And I'm Danny.
And I'm Chris.
And today we're going to be talking about Kang the Conqueror to prepare for the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantum Mania. Is that what it's called?
That's a mouthful, whatever
it is. A mouthful. I can't say my S's.
Ant-Man 3.
Ant-Man 3.
Yeah.
Or the Ant-Man and the Wasp 2.
Wasp.
Yeah, so this episode is going to be titled, Who is Kang the Conqueror? Because he's new to the MCU, right?
Well, kinda.
He popped up in one of the TV shows.
Maybe. A different King, yeah.
Spoiler.
He was also in Marvel's Contest of Champions, right?
Everybody's in Contest of Champions these days.
That's what I remember him from.
You haven't played in a couple of years, have you?
No.
Me neither.
You haven't played that in a couple of years?
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Kang the Conqueror because this is a character that is interweaved all throughout the history of Marvel Comics, pretty much, and a very confusing character that probably can't be covered in one issue or one episode, but we're going to at least get an introduction to who Kang is. And we picked out 3 comics to read. 2 of which I read, and 1 I read the wrong one of. And we just discovered that now as we started recording this podcast. But we're all going to take one issue and walk through it with you guys. So the 3 issues that we chose that were...
What
the hell was that?
I think they're blending something.
Someone's blending something, and Danny's making margaritas. Making some margaritas for the podcast.
Sunday night margaritas.
All right, that's all staying in there. So the 3 issues that we chose to learn about Kang was Avengers number 8, which is his first appearance, and then what was the second one?
Avengers 267.
Okay, so Avengers 267, that's from the 80s. And then Kang number 1, Kang the Conqueror number 1, which is a pretty recent, like August 2021 comic.
It looks new. It looks good.
Yeah, I like the writing in it too. So we're going to start off with his first appearance. Before we do that, you guys have anything going on this week other than getting ready for the Ant-Man movie?
Yeah, the new Overwatch season started with the new Battle Pass. And the Mythic skin at the end, which is pretty cool. Like, all of the Mythic skins have been, like, customizable. But this one's for Kiriko. And I'm trying to get really good at Kiriko so I don't let that skin go to waste once I get it.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
What kind of character is that?
She's a support. She's like a ninja support.
Nice. That's kind of an oxymoron, though.
Yeah.
If you go back to ancient Japan and say, hey, ninja, you're going to be supporting somebody someday. He's like, no, I'm just going to be flat out killing people.
She uses magical soul scrolls or something. So,
okay.
Yeah, it works. It's on theme.
Very good. How about you, Dan? Anything going
on? I haven't checked out the new Overwatch season yet, but I'm still on my Fortnite grind, so...
Nice.
Getting more number 1 victory royales. Yeah, Fortnite about to get down. Cool.
Cool. And I did, even though I beat the Autonauts on the new version, I did go back and I played the old edition because there was, according to Steam, 3 things that I didn't do. Yeah, so I figured I wanted to just go ahead and 100% that game, and I did. I finished. Now, remember nice. I said the game save that I had on the updated version was like 48 hours or something?
Yeah.
Well, I went back and I continued on one of my original saves to finish out the old version, and it's got like 108 hours on that save.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
So that's a long time. But I 100%ed it, and I'll have to show you the animation that happens when you finish it. Amber, I'll show you that, because I've got a save just before the final thing when you take all your babies and you shoot them into space to make
I'm
them
sorry,
free.
what?
Yep,
You
you
do
heard
what
me right.
now?
You gotta use a magical pyramid to shoot your babies into space to set them free,
Wow.
where they have no material needs anymore. So let that be a lesson. So yeah, I did that. That was good. And I played a little Marvel Snap. I finished out the Savage Lands season that was
Battle
going on.
Pass.
Yeah, Battle Pass. And I actually did buy the Battle Pass at the very end. So you have
Nice.
to collect all the stuff. And that gives you the little kitty cat person.
Kitty.
But other than that,
The tiger?
yeah. Kitty cat, tiger,
Same.
same thing.
Same thing.
But yeah, that's a good game that I play every now and then when I've got nothing else going on, which isn't very often these days. So if that's it, let's go ahead and get into talking about Kang.
Kang.
So starting with Avengers number 8, which is quite old, 1964.
Whoa.
Yeah. And you can tell that with the art style and you can tell that with the writing style.
Yeah.
Not that the art's bad, but it's
Of the times.
The writing is certainly dated. So we start off with Kang and of course with the classic Marvel style of having some new character show up in a comic. They have to be on the cover, and there has to be some kind of lead in, talk about what's about to happen. So on the cover we've got, can you think of any one man whose power is greater than that of the Avengers? Don't answer that. Not until you meet Kang the Conqueror. And then, so it shows him fighting off all of the Avengers. So we start off with the Avengers walking through downtown Manhattan, and they're being escorted into the mansion of Anthony Stark, which nobody knows is Iron Man.
Which I didn't even know that Tony was short for Anthony.
What?
You mean in Tony Stark's?
Yeah.
Case,
No, in
or in all
general.
cases?
I didn't know Tony was short for Anthony. I thought it was a separate name.
Okay. Well, you going to college for this?
Yeah, I'm going to college to learn names and nicknames.
You learned something today then.
I did.
Yep. Every day he's got to learn something. So we're going to Anthony or Tony Stark's mansion to have this meeting because the Pentagon has summoned, in the middle of the day, has summoned all of the Avengers to have a meeting. So instead of flying to DC, they just go into this mansion where they have this little command post that they can instantly talk to the Pentagon. And of course, in this super high-tech mansion with all this nifty neato technology in this room that they can live telecast to the Pentagon, which
So they had Zoom in the 60s?
Which today we just know is like Zooming or FaceTiming somebody, but back then it involved like radios and frequencies and all kinds of crazy stuff and scramblers. So of course, when we've got Captain America, we've got the who's that, Wasp and Giant Man, and we've got Iron Man and Thor. So we've got two geniuses in the room. So, of course, the person who's going to run all the electronics is the guy that's from another world who knows nothing about our electronics. So
Thor, put on the scrambler.
Thor is running the scrambler to tune in the Pentagon. And, of course, he does a perfect job. So the Pentagon says, hey, there's something going down just outside of D.C., like in Virginia, right? In the woods in Virginia. So a UFO comes down and blasts the earth so hot that it turns to glass, lands, and now they instantly get a bunch of tanks there to make sure nothing's going to happen. And
I like how there was an asterisk that translated UFO
Yeah.
unidentified flying object.
Which
very helpful.
In today's timeline, everybody knows what a UFO
is. I wish they translated scrambler.
Right. This is a very, very timely time to be learning about flying ships through to the United States, but that's a different subject altogether. And so the ship just starts shooting some kind of vibration ray or something and demolishing all the tanks. Of course, just like in a good G.I. Joe cartoon back in the 80s, all the soldiers got out of the machines before they got destroyed. That was a trope for those cartoons. I don't know if you knew that. Every time, like, G.I. Joe would shoot down a bad guy plane, you'd see a parachute pop out.
Yeah.
Nobody ever died. So the tanks are demolished. The soldiers are there, like, what's going on? And then here comes, out of this little tube that comes down, of course, just because every UFO has a tube to let the people out.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Kang the Conqueror, and he's very full of himself. He's very confident that he's just going to rule this entire Earth. And, he's not in a hurry. He's like, go ahead and tell your people I'm going to rule the Earth, and they can go ahead and like surrender when they're ready to. So, of course, the Avengers have to show up and thwart this. So they take a private jet that everybody just seems to know, hey, that's the Avengers jet taking off. They must be doing something. So they're flying down to Virginia, pop out there, and here's Kang sitting on an invisible lounge chair, just lounging around. And all the superheroes are like, wow, he's got some kind of anti-gravity seat. And I find his confidence disturbing. He seems to have no fear of our power. And then one of the Avengers says, I bet he's not bad looking under all that silly headgear he's wearing. This is what happens when you let a bunch of dudes write comics. One female superhero just wonders what this bad guy has no possible way of thinking that he's good looking underneath this ridiculous outfit. Why would she say that?
Is she not like dating or married to Hank Pym also?
I don't know at this point if she is or not.
Because that's a little silly.
But I think she was known, and this is probably to the credit or fault of the writers at the time. I think she was known to be over sexualized or horny often. That's speculation. I think that's what I've read somewhere. But anyhow, they face off with him, and he's got all kinds of gadgets in his suit. So he pushes a button, and all of a sudden there's like a repulsor ray or something that makes everybody float up in the air, and it's stronger than any of the superheroes can counteract. So Thor thinks, I'm just going to throw my hammer at him and stop him, and throws a hammer at him, and then he just turns the hammer into subspace. So it like disappears and then comes back and doesn't hurt him at all. So he's in 2 seconds immobilized pretty much all of the Avengers, and it's not looking too good. So now more military is showing up because we got to do something with this guy. And I guess there's some kind of like Secretary of Defense or something that's there calling the shots. And well, maybe we should just blow him up. And no, we can't do that yet. Let's see what the Avengers can do. And then of course the bad guy has to get into his story about who he is and why he's there to rule the world. It touches a little bit on some of his past about being a pharaoh, the pharaoh Ramatut.
Yeah.
Back in the days of ancient Egypt. Talks about him facing Dr. Doom at some point, which may or may not be one of his ancestors. I don't know if you gathered that from some of the reading.
No.
Because his real name is Nathaniel Richards. Guess who else he is a descendant of?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards, yes.
I didn't put that together. I was like, why is it so important that his name's Nathaniel Richards?
Yep. And on the cover of this, it says you'll never believe who his, secret identity is. But I don't think in this issue
this issue doesn't even say his name.
Did ever say it? No. But he goes a little bit through his history and talks about how he's got the greatest scientific knowledge of all time because he's traveled all through time, and he's got 4,000 year in the future technology knowledge, and he's coming back to Earth because he was bored with what life was like 4,000 years into the future. So he wants to come back and rule a time that was a little bit cooler, I guess. So that's why he's here. And so Giant Man finally gets tired of that and grabs him and says, "Okay, I've got you. I've got your hands. I've got your legs. You can't push any of your magic buttons on your suit." And instead, he just flexes like a pectoral muscle or something like that. So by flexing a button or flexing a muscle, he can activate one of his buttons inside his suit, and it causes some kind of stun power generation thing that knocks Giant Man away. Then Thor gets upset again, says, "You can't stop my hammer a second time." So he throws the hammer at him again, and he says, "Well, okay, you're right. I can't put it into subspace again because I haven't recharged my powers. But I can make an antimatter shield in front of me, and it just bounces off." So he's got some stuff going on. While all this is going on, Wasp decides she's going to fly into his helmet and try to disable some of the circuitry, but she can't figure out the circuitry because it's 4,000 year in the future circuitry. So she accidentally trips an alarm, and he stops her. And Captain America tries to stop him with a shield. Iron Man tries to stop him. They knock him on the ground, but then when they knock him on the ground, one of his little magic buttons gets pushed again.
Him and his magic buttons.
Yeah, he's got like a utility belt. Maybe they should have brought Batman to fight him. And this time when the belt gets activated, it slurps all the superheroes inside a spaceship, each one in their own, what do they call it, catacomb, I guess. Each one goes in their own little rectangular box that has some kind of a force field that stops them from moving, and that's not good for Tony Stark because it's affecting his what they call it, transistor powered chest device. So it's stopping his blood flow. That's not good. It turned Thor back into his alter ego, which is a doctor with a cane. I don't know if you knew that, but in the old days,
forgot that he was a dude. When it was like, "Oh, Dr. So-and-so," I was like, "Who now? Who's this person?"
Yeah, Dr. Don Blake, and
It's
he turned
Thor.
into Thor by slamming his cane onto the ground, and his cane would turn into his hammer. So they're all immobilized. Things are not looking good, but I guess that leaves Wasp, and they did bring with them
Some random teenager.
teenager.
Confused me.
Reminds me of the Fantastic Four friend.
Yeah,
That
but
random
at
guy.
least he was fast, right? He could run really fast.
Yeah, at least that guy was useful.
Who was this guy? Rick Jones? Is that the guy's name?
Something like that. Some dumb name.
So he's actually he's been a sidekick to many superheroes over the years. He was at the explosion of the atomic bomb that turned the Hulk into the Hulk.
Oh.
He heard that they were going to be detonating a bomb, and he thought it'd be cool to go watch. So he drives his convertible out there to the desert, and Bruce Banner throws him out of the blast zone just in time, and then he gets blasted and turned into the Hulk. So he was there, and he was kind of the Hulk sidekick / nemesis at the same time. It's kind of a confusing relationship, but he's hanging out with the Avengers now, and so he's run off into the woods with Wasp, and they need to come up with a plan. And their plan, instead of trying to communicate with other superheroes, is, I know, I'll call the Teen Brigade. So he's got a bunch of rando teens that follow him around like groupies, and they're going to save the day.
The Teen Brigade.
So I don't know where they're coming from, but essentially, I guess they got to Virginia really quick.
Text the group chat. Hey guys, roll up to Virginia. We're gonna fight Kang the Conqueror.
So it took the Avengers with superpowers a freaking jet to get there. But these teenagers, one of them in a football jersey,
He's got a local group of teenagers in every single city that he can call on whenever he needs.
But these look like the ones that show up at the other cities too.
Who knows?
So they
They're
show up
probably
and
copy pasted.
they're gonna come up with a plan. And their plan is run past all the military people that are aiming their guns at him, at Kang. Run past him and just tell Kang, hey, you're really super powerful, right? We want to join you. And Kang's like, well, you're the only smart people in this Earth. Go ahead, go in my spaceship and wait for me.
Big ego.
So they go up into the spaceship, and of course they're really secretly looking to try to free the superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, hey, new guys, why don't you bring me that bomb? They're like, okay, here you go, and they drop it out.
Oopsies.
Drop it out of the spaceship, and it damages a little bit. So it takes Kang a little while to contain this bomb thing that he wanted to use, and it's starting to seep out some kind of, I don't know, fumes or something. So they've got a couple seconds to find the superheroes, and they just start pushing buttons, and apparently they free them. So they free the dude with the cane, Dr. Don, and he turned back into Thor, and then Thor helped free the other people. Of course, Iron Man's a little weak because his heart was hurting. And while all this is happening, the Wasp somehow flies back to wherever Giant Man's lab is, probably in New York. So she flies with her little tiny wasp wings in tiny form, nonetheless. So it's 8 times the distance that it would normally be, probably because of her scale. Flies back to get some kind of weapon that Hank has created that may just happen to, I created this because just in case we meet up with some guy like Kang. And she flies back and gets it. But she can't fly this gun back because she's too small when she flies to carry a gun. So she has a bunch of flies help her.
Yeah, it was kind of cute.
So her and about 6 flies flying a gun, I guess, from New York City back to Virginia. All in the same amount of time it takes for the superheroes to get out of the spaceship and back down to Kang, who's still preoccupied with this bomb thing. So they get him back. They think they're going to, take him over again, but it's not until the Wasp gives that gun thing to Giant Man, and that starts to turn the tables a little bit. So now you got Thor with his hammer, you got the shield flying, you got the super gun thing that just showed up from a bunch of flying ants, and now they're starting to cause some trouble and I guess eat away at his suit, and that's going to cause him some trouble. So he decides that he's going to just launch a rocket.
Yeah.
I'll just fly a neutrino missile out and destroy everybody. If you think you're going to beat me, I'll just destroy everybody. But and even in his weakened form, Iron Man's able to use a repulsor ray to knock it up into the space, or not space, but at least up into the sky where it explodes and it doesn't hurt anybody.
Iron Man does what Iron Man does best: redirect missiles.
At least he didn't grab it and fly it this time.
Yeah.
And so I'm just gonna, if you blow up my bomb and you think you're gonna save me, then I'm just going to turn myself into radioactivity. So he just starts glowing, and I guess the only way that Captain America can save himself is put the shield up because shields stop radiation. But they get him to escape back into his ship, and he flies off. And that's that. And the world is saved by a bunch of teenagers.
Basically.
And happy ending, but they know he'll be back someday.
Yep.
Because he's way too powerful. But the next time he comes, they think at least we'll be ready for him next time.
Yeah, at least they'll be ready.
So what do you guys think of Avengers number 8? That's a pretty old issue, but a pretty pretty good story if you don't try to read into the timeline of how long it takes to fly things back and forth between states.
Mm,
It was good. I don't know. I thought it was an interesting. Um, I don't know. I liked that they didn't beat him immediately. Like, I don't know. It was cool.
yeah.
Yeah. In this time frame, if you were just to flip through the issues of the Avengers, you'd see like every third issue there'd be some other bad guy that was just more powerful than all of the Avengers. and that just repeats for years. They just kept on. I mean, they were cranking out the characters back then. Marvel was just absolutely a machine in making all these stories for all these people and making it intertwine over the course of the last 50 years has been exciting because now we get to see Kang come back into a movie on the big
Yeah.
screen.
Mm-hmm.
So very good. So let's go on to the next issue, which my daughters tell me is Avengers number 267.
267.
Yep.
So I don't have the exact date. It's May. I'm going to guess in the late 80s because the issue price is 75 cents.
Oh,
So it could
it's
be the mid to late
86.
86. Okay. So who's tackling this one?
That would be me.
All right.
Yo, he's got a Lego on his belt. He's got a Lego belt.
2x3.
Oh, pink brick.
So this issue features Storm in it.
Thanks.
Part of the
The
Avengers.
It's just Storm. The end. That's all that matters.
Storm. But it starts off with the Avengers are discussing how Colossus is entering or is becoming like an Avenger, and the president is there to welcome him, and they're having a big old thing, and Iron Man comes in and he's like, "I'm here, guys," and they're like, "Finally." And he has this box, and he's like, "Oh, Mr. President, this box is from Tony Stark. He wanted to give it to you." And he's like, "Oh, well, that's nice." And then this man comes running, and he's like, "Don't open the box. Don't open the box." They're like, "Why would we listen to you?" And he's like, "I'm Tony Stark. I didn't give that box." And then the president just opens the box and everyone dies. Except
the end.
Iron Man, but it's not actually Iron Man, it's actually Kang. Kang the
What?
Conqueror.
Plot twist. This must not have been Earth 616.
So
Is that
he
it? Is
kills,
that the right one?
I don't even know. But everyone dies, but then there's this like panel of Kangs watching, and they're like, "Why did he do that? He just messed up the time, how time works, and now there's gonna be so many other realities because of what he just did." So they blast him, and that Kang's gone.
It's just a pile of smoldering ash.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, those three Kangs are there.
Things.
And two of the Kangs walk away because one of them shows him his King robot factory.
I
And
can only assume that this is like the Marvel Comics version of the TVA from Loki, which is the like time neutral place where the people like control the timelines. If you haven't seen Loki,
Mm.
and
that makes sense.
yeah, so I think that's the equivalent of this place. So this Kang is without time, the main Kang,
Kang
Mhm.
Prime.
I guess.
Did I call him that in this issue or no?
No.
Okay, so the main Kang is they call Kang Prime,
Mm.
and all the other ones are like versions of him.
Okay.
So
Anyways.
the one Kang shows the other Kang his Kang robot factory, and and the the one that doesn't have the factory is like, this is cool, but I'm a little suspicious. And he just shows him around, and then he shows him his tomb of Ravana. I'm guessing that was his lover, right?
Yeah. So this is the not main Kang's tomb of Ravana. Because all the kings are like, oh, my Ravana's dead.
Mm-hmm. But one of the kings, Ravana, is alive.
Yeah, main king.
So the one king is like, oh my god, she's alive. But then he gets zapped. And Ravana was like, did you really need to do that? And then he's like, yeah, now there's only one king I have to destroy. And then we get sent back to, well, is this, I guess it gets sent back to
Real
another
Earth.
Avengers timeline
Yeah.
where they're not dead. And this is, a bunch of crowd of people saying that Namor shouldn't be a part of the Avengers, and um, apparently they're like friends with Namor now. So, and
Go back and listen to our Namor episode if you haven't.
Drew, shameless plug.
Pug.
Woof.
That's a
It's a
pug pun.
little late. We're a little tired.
So big crowd of people saying, "No, Namor, we don't like him," and the Wasp is there, and they're like asking her all kinds of questions, like why is Namor becoming an Avenger? And so she just flies away, and she goes talk. She goes and talks to Jarvis, and she basically explains how she should have announced his joining earlier, and that she should probably say something to the people. But she got a note. I didn't really get this part. She got a note from someone.
Yeah, some lover, I guess. Paladin.
Oh, see, more love letters for the only female character.
Yeah. And she kisses Jarvis on the
Yep.
cheek.
Yep.
So we cancel Prince Charming for kissing uh, a Sleeping Beauty, but we're not going to cancel the Wasp.
Oh, Jarvis liked it. You can see he liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he was conscious, so it doesn't count.
That's true. But Jarvis tells the Wasp that Hercules and Black Knight are working on some remodeling in the basement, so she goes and talks to them.
I guess what are
And
they building a pool for Namor or something?
I don't know.
That's what I thought they were doing, but it just kind of seemed random.
It said old submarine waterway,
Oh,
something like that.
I don't. Anyways.
Probably a way for him to get quickly to the ocean from underneath the
Oh,
mansion.
yeah.
Probably. They're doing a lot for this Namor guy, aren't they?
Yeah, I wonder who that guy is.
Black Knight's using one of Elon Musk's boring machines to build this tunnel.
But yeah, they're working on that, and they're like, the thing is they're working on it, but then they get like portaled to somewhere else, like a portal sucks them up or something. And they see Hulk. They're like with Hulk, and they're like, "Wait, why is Hulk here?" And then Hercules knocks him out.
Hey, what's up, Hulk? Thunk.
But they're like, "Oh no, wait, there's something strange about him." And then he turns into Ant-Man, and Wasp is like, "Ant-Man." Apparently, their ex is here. It's her ex-husband in this issue. That's why she's kissing up on Jarvis.
And whoever Paladin is.
But then, so Hulk transforms into Ant-Man, and then it jumps to Captain America and Captain Marvel on a submarine with Namor, and he's swimming with dolphins. He's just having fun, and Captain America just explains like there's a lot about him that people don't realize, and that he's a good person most of the time. And then Captain Marvel just says that he has a temper and an ego, but and Captain America says that he's a decent man though. But then they talk and Captain Marvel says that he can call her Monica because this is Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel. And so she like puts her trust in Captain America to know her identity. And then Namor's like, "Well, I got some lobsters for dinner."
He just snatched up his friend from underwater. They're gonna boil these boys up.
Yummy.
And Monica's like, "Okay, that's good with me. Nice lobster dinner." Then we cut back
Well,
to
Captain America's like, lobster again.
yeah, he's like, "More
Because
lobster."
it's the only sea creature that Namor is willing to consume.
Mm-hmm. But then it cuts back to the Wasp and Hercules and Black Knight, and then Ant-Man turns into Iron Man, and the art is kind of funny of Ant-Man turning into Iron Man because Iron Man looks goofy.
That's their like old
He's
costumes
like,
too, right?
yeah,
That's what it says.
Mark One
Yeah,
Iron
they're
Man.
like, these are all their original costumes, and it's a reference to the Avengers #2 when they fight the guy who changes into them or something.
Oh, the Space Phantom.
Yeah.
Yeah, duplicate the appearance and powers of any of them. So it was a reference back to that. And then Kang shows up, and they call him Immortus in this one. Oh wait, he says Immortus is no more. He says his name is Kang now. So he says that for you to return home, you have to defeat me, or you'll stay in. They call it limbo. I guess that's wherever they are.
Yeah, Mortis was the ruler of Limbo, and that's why he's confused. Why Hercules is confused, saying, "I thought Limbo was ruled by Immortus," and but no,
Mm,
he's no more. Now it's Kang, so it's the same dude, just different name now.
yeah. So they have to defeat him, or they'll be stuck there. So Wasp tries, but she can't get him. But then she's like, "Oh, that's just a diversion," and Black Knight hits him, and Hercules hits him and decapitates him, but it's a robot. Whoa, it's not actually
What?
him.
A robot.
From the Robot Factory.
And so Kang in the behind the scenes is like, "This is exactly what I want." And he wants to conquer everything. That's what he tells Ravana. He just wants to control everything. He wants to be that one king. The only king.
Yeah, he wants to rule every time period.
Mm-hmm.
He just like that.
He wants to kill all the Kangs and replace the Kangs with his robot Kangs so that he can control the robot Kangs, control the time.
Which I think later in this series, he actually helps the Avengers fight the other copies of himself.
Would they defect?
The robots go bad? Or
I guess,
the
I don't
other
know.
Kangs?
The other Kangs.
Oh, where do they come from?
Well, every time
Other realities.
so in the future, he's got a time machine, right? And that's how he
Right.
gets to all these different time periods. I think
Right.
every time he jumps time, it creates a copy of himself.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very, very confusing.
Lots of
Almost as confusing as the X-Men movies.
Kangs.
We don't talk about those with in regards to time. Rule number 1.
Just enjoy them for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we get to see more of our Avengers friends, more than just the original ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool that there was like 2 recent additions to the MCU with Hercules and... Wait, was Hercules in Thor?
Hercules. He's in one of the movies, I thought.
Yeah. The new Thor. Right? Anyways. And with Black
Oh, they
Knight.
show him at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. You haven't seen the
End
movie in 6 months. That's your fault.
End credit scene.
Why was
Yeah.
it so special that Storm was in it when she was literally on the second page?
Right?
I
Well,
don't
because
know.
they can't tell you that they're going to die. It's like, oh my gosh, we have to get the X-Men fans to read the Avengers comics because the X-Men fans might not be reading the Avengers comics. So this is how we get them to buy the Avengers comic.
Yeah, what you guys grew up with was a very segmented Marvel between all the different movies. You know, the MCU, the X-Men's, the Spider-Man, and the comics, and especially in the 80s, they were just all in everybody's comic.
Party.
Like there was no segregation. It was just, hey, if Spider-Man wants to show up at the X-Men mansion and hang out for a while, then he certainly can.
Bunch of crossovers.
Yeah.
Some of that's probably the artists, because an artist would get working on some title. You know, the artist probably like, hey, I'd really like to take a shot at Spider-Man sometime. I'm tired of drawing this 5'3" hairy guy all the time.
Who?
Wolverine.
Oh.
How many 5'3"? Okay, it could have been Beast.
I was thinking Rocket Raccoon.
I don't think Rocket Raccoon is 5'3".
He's 3'5".
Yeah.
Could be.
It'd be a big raccoon. Speaking of, new Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, forgot to say. It was pretty good. Looks pretty epic.
I didn't see it yet.
It's good. I think it came out today. Anyways, I'll talk about Kang the Conqueror #1. So, in this one, we get a little bit of background. So we get some narration about Alexander the Great and him being like, you know, a cool conqueror, but not like the best conqueror, right? I don't know, because Kang has kind of a thing with Alexander the Great. And he talks about his young life of growing up in the year, being born in the year 3000, and all the cool technology and all of that. It's really awesome, but he thinks it's a cage because it's just like nobody's having fun. Because everything is so technologically advanced, there's no issues, there's no fun. Like everyone is just, well, we don't really get to see very much. We just see a bunch of generic technology.
Right.
What cool technology, I guess, looks like for these artists. But he doesn't like it. He's trapped in a cage of technology. Like he got his slit throat. What? He got his throat slit and recovered in a couple months or something because of how good the medicine and stuff is. So he's just kind of sick of it. So he knows of a historical room, like a place, like a library, I guess, an old library, and he goes there and he sees Doctor Doom's big Doctor Doom suit. I guess. I don't know, this part was a little confusing for me. But it's not Doctor Doom, it's Old King, or Old King shows up. He comes in a portal and shows up. And he's like, "Who are you?" I'm Nathaniel Richards. We hear his name. Who are you? I'm Kang the Conqueror. I don't know what the heck that means. Well, you will. So, um, so Kang the Conqueror basically recruits this younger version of himself. Tells the kid, "I'm you, and I'm gonna train you to be better than me." Basically, so Big Kang takes Little Kang. I guess we'll call him Nathaniel. So Kang takes Nathaniel back to dinosaur times, and this is 1 year before the asteroid that obliterates the dinosaurs comes in. So Nathaniel's like, 1 year? He's like, yep, that's all the time you need to learn everything about me and how to become the best Kang the Conqueror. So he goes through and shows Nathaniel all of the, or tells stories, I guess, and shows him all of the fights that he had with like the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, and gives him advice. The biggest piece of advice being never fall in love, because Ravana is always going to die, which is tragic. That's his biggest failure, is not saving his girlfriend. So they hang out, learns how to shoot, learns how to just exist and be a cool guy. And then Nathaniel, while he's out training one day, he meets a girl in the dinosaur time.
Huh?
It's like, what? And they have a moment. They touch, which is a thing he's never done, really, because that's too unsanitary in the year 3000.
And 2020.
Yeah. So he's, really intrigued by this girl because, he didn't think that there were humans in the dinosaur times. This girl brings him to the tribe, and it's kind of like a little initiation ceremony, kind of, hey, welcome to our tribe, and I'm going to paint your face. The tribe elder paints his face, and he's like, wow, this is really cool. Maybe the year 3000 wasn't the only cage. Maybe Kang is also a cage. So he's like putting it together. He's having so much fun with these other people. He's having so much fun with this tribe. Sadly, they're gonna die soon. So Nathaniel really wants to save these people. So he goes back to see Kang. Kang's like, what's on your face? He's like, there's people here. You said there was no people here. We need to get them out before the asteroid comes. And Kang's like, what did you do? And Nathaniel's like, I fell in love with
Dun,
the
dun,
world.
dun.
And Kang's like, no, and slaps him in the face.
It gave him a big old slap.
Big old slap.
That was a full page slap.
A full page slap. No words.
Bloody.
Blood coming out the nose. Gnarly. Really cool detail. You can see all the knit on his outfit.
He's using the same form that Will Smith did. Did you notice that? That's a full-on Will Smith slap right there.
That's funny.
So Nathaniel's basically real mad. Kang throws him out. Nathaniel's like, I need to get out of here. I can't die here. I can't be with Kang anymore. I need to get out. So Nathaniel, spending all this time with Kang, has realized that he's got a drinking problem, especially if you talk about Ravonna, and especially if you put special herbs in his drink. So Kang's out. He's down. He's out, and he's like, "This is my chance. I'm gonna do this." He takes the suit. I guess has time to alter it to fit his little boy body.
That's in the
Which,
skill set is alterations.
yeah, quick alterations, because guess what? The asteroid is coming, and just in time, he's able to open the portal with the Kang suit and leave as all the dinosaurs explode and go extinct. Which sad he didn't get to save his friends. That's a little unfortunate. Maybe if he didn't alter the suit, he would have had time to go back. But well, whatever. So he jumps in a random portal, and he doesn't know where he is. He falls into sand. He's like, "Oh no, did I go too far in the future? Did I go too far in the past? Where am I? What's happening?" He's like, "Well, I escaped Kang's cage just to end up in Rama Tut's empire." So he ends up in ancient Egypt during the time of Kang, aka Rama Tut's rule.
Nice.
And that's where it ends.
I like this issue.
I did too. I
I did
really
too.
liked it.
Might
I
have to
liked
read some more of this
Nathaniel.
series.
Yeah. It's hard for me to think of Nathaniel turning into some sort of bad Kang the Conqueror.
Well,
Mhm.
is he really bad? He just has ambitions to
He's
rule,
just got big
all
ambitions.
time and space.
True.
But he's listed as a sometime hero.
Okay.
So I think there's probably things that threaten the timeline that he has to correct that
Yeah.
could be bad. So
Like in Loki.
that's very Marvel-esque, right? You take a bad guy that you can still kind of root for every now and then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You take a good guy that you can still think maybe doing some dirty deeds every now and then. So that's right down Marvel's alley.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how this is going to play into the quantum realm. I don't know how he gets to the quantum realm in the movie, but it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how he enters the MCU that way.
I'm gonna have to maybe binge watch Loki again and see how that ends. And I suggest you guys do that also, because even though it's not Kang the Conqueror, I don't think it's the same Kang that's going to be in the Ant-Man movie. He does in Loki talk a little bit about his backstory, I think.
Oh.
So
And it's the same actor?
yeah.
Okay.
So
Very cool. We will have to check that out.
Yeah.
and Ravonna is also in Loki. She is a little bit different. She's not like I don't know what she is to Kang in the thing. She's not really his follower in Loki, but yeah, I liked Loki.
Very cool. All right. So anything else to talk about Kang? I know it's hard to take someone that's been through so many decades of comics and try to give a summary in one hour long episode of a podcast, but hopefully we've drawn some attention to who he is and what his overall story or wants and desires are, what his ambitions are.
Yeah. I want to read more of this Kang the Conqueror series, because I'm interested to see how much they know about ancient Egypt.
It'd be neat if it kind of follows chronologically through, from the dinosaurs to ancient Egypt to, modern times and then to the future.
Yeah.
And kind of interweaves through Kang's, he learns. And it's one of those, I think it might have been the issue that I accidentally read. Talked about how Kang really shouldn't jump around and find Kang, in a different time period, because we all know what happens when Marty McFly goes and, messes with his parents or
an Umbrella Academy when you get the farts.
messes with his future self. And Kang's like, I have no fear of that. I can do whatever I want, and I still control the timeline. He has no fear of anything. So interesting character.
Yeah.
And
It's gonna be a cool villain because, we've had so many big bads recently. It's gonna be cool to see how this guy, I don't know, works.
Yeah, they always tried to measure bad guys outside of the comics, in the MCU and stuff. They start saying things like, well, if you thought Thanos was bad, wait till you get a load of this guy. And I think they're all bad, just bad in different ways, and have different abilities to cause havoc in the timelines, or havoc into any one person's world.
I still want a Galactus arc.
They can't just start the MCU with Galactus like, I am Galactus. The end.
But if they wait too long, then they're going to be all washed up by then and forget how to write good movies.
Yeah. That's all right. We'll just have James Gunn come back, and after he gets tired of the DC universe, he can come back.
I don't know if he'll get tired of the DC universe.
Did you see the trailer for Flash?
No.
It was during the Super Bowl. They had a trailer for Flash. I didn't think they were going to be using that actor. I thought he got in trouble or something.
Oh, they kept the same actor?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I think he was literally a criminal on the run for a little bit.
Maybe that was just all an act to make it spicy and make us want to go see it. Yeah, too late to reshoot a whole movie now.
Yikes.
We're going to go ahead and release this one and pretend nobody remembers that part. Well, cool. We're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you all for listening to us talk about Kang. Go check out some Kang comics before you go see the new movie Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Quantum Realm and the Kang and the Baby Raccoon. I think that's the full title.
Yeah.
You get to see a baby raccoon in the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
Aww.
All right. Well, thank you as always for listening. And until next time, peace out. And geek out.
Thank you for listening to the Family Geekery podcast. For more information, visit www.familygeekery.com. Don't forget to subscribe at your favorite podcast provider. And until next time, peace out and geek out.